for 200 milers this year. And when this event came up, I thought about, did I want to talk about getting trench foot for the first time? At my second 100 miler, which
can't
was,
be without him, I'm sorry.
Very good. So did I want to talk about getting trench foot for the first time, which was pretty miserable, or chafing in some unfortunate places for the first time, which was maybe more miserable? But I thought as a runner, kind of that mental game is so essential. I've done this before, I've been here before, I've felt this before, and what that first experience is like of having that point of comparison. So I just wanted to kind of go through both 100 milers and mentally how I felt as opposed to physically. And they couldn't have been more different in terms of what the race was or what the conditions were. My first one was at Vermont, was almost entirely a road race. My second one was in the mountains of Virginia on a rainy day, raining for 27 hours straight. So, at the start, I went from, excited confidence, nervousness at Vermont to extreme doubt that I was going to finish. That, I put the training in, I was ready to do it, but just towing that start line took more effort than I felt like I'd given it all of Vermont. And getting through this day was going to take more than just the physical training. I wasn't really sure what to expect, but just that mental aspect was exactly why I do these kind of races, because it really puts me into this uncomfortable zone that I'm excited to really challenge myself in. And flash forward, I'm just going to go in 20-mile increments because I don't have much time in this 100-mile race. So flash forward 20 miles, and several hours later, Vermont I felt pretty unstoppable. I was well trained, the weather was going much better than it would at Grindstone. Everyone was out cheering. I missed my crew, but I was just ready to tackle the day and ready to go. And Grindstone, I just wanted to go to sleep. It was a night start, and literally I was doubting myself. I didn't want to keep going. I literally considered going to the side of the trail and just kicking my legs up and taking a nap. I was like, if I'll get cold, I'll wake up and I'll get to the aid station from there. So, but I figured it out. I kept moving. Flash forward another 20 miles. Vermont, things start to kind of enter the grind. It's a road race primarily. You're sitting there just pounding over and over. There's really no one left around you anymore. You're spread out, you're by yourself. It's all internalized, just sitting there saying, can I do this? It was my first race. It was when I started to have that self-doubt creep in that was there from the start of Grindstone. At Grindstone, I was like, my feet are starting to hurt. So this is, at Vermont, I mentioned I missed my crew at mile 20. At Grindstone, I missed them close to mile 40. And again, it was just that mental game of, do I want to stick with this? Do I want to go and push myself any further? No one's here to help me. I'm on my own. My feet are hurting. Flash forward to mile 60. Things are starting to turn around for both races. I was, past that halfway point, 50 miles left. That's it. Again, crazy, really, really, really stupid, but it starts to become more digestible the kind of the closer you get. But, it still is such a mental game, but that confidence at Grindstone that I had done this before and I could do it, this time finally started to work in my favor, as opposed to sitting and saying, I don't know if I could do this. The first one was so much easier. The first one I didn't have so many obstacles. I started to trust in what my body had carried me to do before. And then at mile 80 of both races, which hopefully it won't be in the future if I do 100 milers, everything just fell off a cliff. People say the race for a marathon starts at mile 20, and those last 6 miles are, where the race starts and they feel forever. Make that 20 miles for a 100 miler and several hours of running, and that's kind of the experience where, this is longer than most of your training runs are, and you just have to get through it. And really, that's when, everything about ultra running, everything about running, everything about a community like this really starts to matter, where you internalize every single step and start to think, I know I can do this, I need to dig deeper. Everyone's here to support me. Everyone's been encouraging through the whole day, through the whole year, through every step of the way. And those last 20 miles, as brutal as they are really something incredible that coming out of it every single time I think back, and I'm talking about this now and I'm like, I can't wait to run the next one, knowing that's going to be miserable, but how excited it is to make you realize what something like running is, and whether you're doing stupid races like 100-milers or going out for your first half, first marathon, 20th marathon, 7 marathons in 7 days. Like, that sounds crazier to me than 100 miles in one day, by the way. But yeah, you take it for granted, but just having those experiences to be able to reflect and appreciate what you've gone through are truly something special.